Mai Kako, A Como Mai Curtain Call, a weekly program of reviews, previews, interviews, and features of and or with the great art and artists on Maui and beyond. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui Academy of Performing Arts is presenting the Maui premiere of Lauren Gunderson's The Revolutionists at the Naylor Theater in Wailuku, co-directed by the mother and daughter team of Carolyn and Eliza Wright. Ms. Gunderson has been in the news lately as her name came up in the Trump-Epstein files as a result of the Contemporary Theater in Wakefield, Rhode Island, canceled their production of The Revolutionists. The playwright responded she was, quote, shocked, unquote, appalled, unquote, and nauseated, quote, unquote, and appearing in files, she explained her former husband, Dr. Nathan Wolfe, had been attempting to enlist Mr. Epstein as an investor in a scientific project he was working on. She went on to say, quote, she had never met the monster Epstein, unquote, and as a longtime feminist writer, she said, quote, I hope we remain focused on the survivors and victims of Epstein's deplorable actions, unquote. Her name appeared as a result of an automated mailing list that included Mr. Epstein. He was invited to attend their wedding and their child's subsequent baby shower, neither of which he attended. Carolyn Wright said, quote, we had no intention of canceling, unquote. She encouraged everyone interested to read Ms. Gunderson's statement. The Naylor Theater is the culmination of a dream that began in 2006 when the late Leslie Granite gave a $25,000 contribution to Stepping Stone Theater at the Ka'aumanu Center. She gave it that name because it was meant as a precursor to the Naylor. This second production there gives Maui audiences a chance to experience theater in the round. Jamie Tate has designed a work of art. The stage is in the middle of the theater, and the audience, there are only 88 seats, has the opportunity to experience the intimacy that only the round theater can provide. It is an extraordinary experience you won't soon forget. The play is a fantasy dramedy taking place in Paris at the time of the Reign of Terror in the late 18th century about four women, Olympe DeGouge, Bobby Jo Curley, Marianne Angelle, A.J. Ching, Charlotte Corday, Lily Warner, and Marie Antoinette, Liana Locke. Olympe was a real playwright who is most famous for writing The Declaration of the Rights of Women and the Female Citizen in 1791. First, Marianne, who is a spy in Paris from Haiti, comes to her to enlist the only woman writer she knows to write pamphlets for her cause to free her enslaved people from the French, which is one of the supreme ironies since the French are in the throes of freeing themselves from a tyrannical monarchy while enslaving Africans in their colonies. Then in comes Charlotte, whom many may remember from the great film Marat Sade, portrayed by Glenda Jackson as a patient of the asylum at Charenton, portraying the assassination of Jean-Paul Marat. Charlotte comes in like a raging bad dream, declaring she is an assassin who will kill Jean-Paul Marat. She declares, quote, I killed one man to save hundreds of thousands, unquote. She demands last words from Olympe. Finally, in comes Marie Antoinette in a Barbie pink satin gown by Jennifer Oberg. She wants Olympe to rewrite her script because she is obsessed with how she will be remembered. Olympe finds each of these women's stories in turn as an inspiration for a play which none of them want or understand. So here you have a playwright, an African Caribbean revolutionary, and an assassin representing the people, and a clueless queen who represents all that they hate. Will they be able to find sisterhood despite their differences? What will Charlotte's final words be? Will Olympe's dream of liberté, égalité, fraternité for women be realized? Will Marianne succeed in freeing her people? Will Marie be looked at in a more positive light? Well, you'll just have to go and see for yourself. This play is billed as a comedy, but I would not put it in that category because of the dark humor. I call it a dramedy. The comedy comes from the farcical nature of the first act, the over-the-top portrayals and the outrageous anachronisms from the generous supply of F-bombs to the Hermes bag Marie carries, to great lines like, quote, no one wants a musical about the French Revolution, unquote. This statement in itself is a double anachronism since it makes fun of one of the greatest musicals of all time, Les Miserables, and musicals as we know them weren't invented until after the Civil War in 1866. As Olympe, Bobby Jo Curley, who has been a background player in Les Mis, Man of La Mancha, and Cabaret, has arrived. Her Olympe is in a tizzy when confronted with each of these women's demands. She investigates, like Agatha Christie, the ins and outs of their lives and finds sisterhood despite their unique differences. Her clever retorts and banter serve to provide lots of laughs, but underneath lies a palpable degree of frustration and pathos, and her explosions are jarring. A.J. Ching has only done one other play as an adult, Flowers for Hawaii. There, Marianne was at first a little shy, but then they found their voice. They were clear about what they wanted from Olympe. Their scene with Marie in the second act was one of the most revealing and emotionally touching in the entire show. Their bittersweet triumph had the audience in tears and cheering at once. Lily Warner, like Ms. Curley, has been in small roles since she stepped onto the stage in 2023 in Maui on Stage's Peter and the Starcatcher. Most recently, she was in Cabaret. That ends with this role. Ms. Warner's Charlotte is as awake, loud, and alive as Glenda Jackson's was barely conscious. From the moment she steps on the stage to her departure, she holds the spotlight. When she pulls out the knife they call a steak knife, but it looks like a butcher knife, you feel the danger. And she makes one sympathize with what Marat is in for. Her focus every moment never strays. Since Leona Locke, whose maiden name was Edwards, stepped onto the stage here 21 years ago, she has distinguished herself as an outstanding actor, gifted with a Broadway-quality musical talent. From her beautiful portrayal of Marion the Librarian in The Music Man, to a heart-wrenching Stella in the star-crossed production of A Streetcar Named Desire, and so many more, she has earned the accolades showered upon her. Her Marie is at first hilariously clueless as she denies the words she is most well known for while reveling in her love of cake and bows. She has a beguiling twinkle, and her smile is captivating. Her transformation in Act Two is breathtaking, and her connection with Marianne shows motherhood to be a universal bond. Jennifer Oberg, Maui's answer to Edith Head, and her sewing hooey have outdone themselves with the gown for Marie Antoinette. It is spectacular. And despite its hoop skirt and skin-tight bodice with a godzillion bows, Ms. Locke maneuvers it like a dancer in tights. Bravo! Ryan Shimbapakuro did the wigs. Both Ms. Curley's and Ms. Locke's are perfect. Ms. Locke's is a mountain of flowers and bows. The poof is a vision. Speaking of vision, Mr. Tate has a huge blade hanging above the stage, reminding everyone of the danger looming behind the laughter. He has plastered the stage with 18th century pages and hung them like banners around the theater. It is a functional sculpture. I asked Carolyn Wright what it was like working with her daughter Eliza. Quote, "Directing The Revolutionists was a true collaboration. We discovered it was quite easy to collaborate on shaping a singular vision for the show since we have such similar creative sensibilities. We worked together closely on every aspect of the show, each bringing our own unique set of knowledge and skills to the process. We had a blast collaborating on this show. We learned a lot from each other and can't wait to work together again someday," unquote. And neither can we. Working in the round is the most difficult form of theater, and they were completely successful. The Revolutionists runs Friday and Saturday at 7:30 and Sunday at 3 p.m. until February 22nd. For tickets and information, mauiacademy.org. Don't miss it. Well, that's Curtain Call for this week. Mahalo nui loa for joining me. I'm Paul James Brown. Maui strong. Ahui ho.